Good morning, friends. It's Bob Branch with another edition of the Daily Devo. And I want to welcome you into a discussion, into some thinking and some reflection on moving backward in order to go forward. That is to say that there are some visions of what we can be together and what God intends us to be together as a church that are contained in going back to some of the images in the book of Acts in terms of how things took on flesh in that era and can take on flesh in this era. Now, I believe that God is using this COVID season that we're in to draw us into something deeper, perhaps to draw us back in order to go forward. And so what I mean by that is that I believe that we want to click our heels and say there's no place like home and kind of go back to the way it was. But I don't think that the Lord actually wants it to go back to the way that it was, where church is all about the big gathering on Sunday morning. He says, I want you to invest in my people. I want you to invest in community. I want you to invest in this thing that is smaller, that will be much more enriching, much more powerful. My grace will flow into you, and you will grow more and more and more as a result of this. So it's this new old thing, if you will, that God is doing this thing again. He's inviting us into it, into this season. So I want to read to you once again this concluding section of Acts chapter 2. This is what we're gestating on, and it says this in verse 42. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to the prayers. Everyone was filled with awe, and many signs and wonders were performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold their property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes. They ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the Lord added daily to the number of those who were being saved. So we talked yesterday or last Friday about this idea of that they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. But today I want to just explore just momentarily that this idea of they were devoted to the fellowship. And when we say the fellowship, we're using this Greek word called koinonia. Koinonia. And koinonia is a really interesting word because it literally means sharing. It is the sharing of life, and it contains something so central to the way that the Trinity operates, the Father, Son, and Spirit, that they have this complete sharing of life. And eternal life is them sharing that life with us. That's the eternal life that has always been being now shared with us. And so it starts now and continues on forever and ever. But that life is God's vision for what we can be together as a family. It's close-knit. It's one. We experience oneness. It's generous. It's connected. It's joyous. It's caring. It's providing. It's sharing. It is koinonia. Now, Luke doesn't leave us in the dark in terms of what this looked like for them. And I don't want this to be lost on us because Luke is pretty particular, even in this paragraph, of what he means when he says that they experienced and they gave themselves to the koinonia, the sharing, the shared life. He says, for one, that they shared meals together. Now, this is a good one because I'm a foodie and I love sharing meals with people. I've had a chance to get together with lots of people even during the season and have a social distance picnic at the Harveston Park. And it's been wonderful. There's something about Christians and food. Have you noticed that? That we really like to have food. Maybe that's why some of us have weight problems is because we're fellowshipping too much. But they shared their meals. They shared meals together. And there's something unique about breaking bread, about having food together, and that is unique, that is beautiful. It's something about us where we can connect and we share that. So they shared meals together. They shared time together. You see in this that it's not just a Sunday morning, Wednesday night, or a Sunday morning small group kind of a thing. It's all the time. They are meeting and then meeting and meeting some more and meeting some more and meeting some more, trying to figure out a way that they can actually meet some more, even though they're meeting some more. And they want to be able to meet, and they give and they share their time. That's one of the things I believe in our culture today, that because of digital technology, because of the success orientation and the materialism of America, that we want more and we think more is better. So we invest in all of these different things and we miss relationship. And relationship, just flat out, it takes time. It takes time to connect with people, and there's no way around it. So they share their meals, they share time. It says that they shared worship and praise, that they were worshiping and praising together with glad and sincere hearts, that there's this gladness that's among them. And as they worship and praise, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That there's something about worshiping with a small group of people that you trust. That's really kind of an amazing thing, where I've had some of the most profound worship experiences ever in my life with groups of 4 and 5 people, where we've just been worshiping. And I remember one time where we were worshiping, and I just it came to my senses about an hour and a half later. I had no idea that much time had gone by, and we were worshiping the whole time, and we were just sort of lost in it together. That they shared worship and praise. It also says that they shared their stuff and their money, and that they didn't see these kind of big ownership kinds of boundaries. And for Jewish people in that time and in that era, the land and the stuff that they had, it was really a pretty big deal. It's very much like it is for us now, even though the land is something even bigger to them. And so they shared all of it. They shared what they had. They gave away stuff. I had encouraged people to do this the other day, but I went through my closet and I just grabbed a whole bunch of my clothes. And so if you're a large size and you need some clothing, I have some clothing to give away. But I want to get rid of that stuff, not because it's not good, because I don't wear it. So they gave their stuff. They gave their stuff away. In chapter 4, it says that great grace was among them, that there's this grace, there's this generosity, there's this joy. Grace is all of those. It's generosity, it's great, it's graciousness, and it's joy. And all of those things, that's the word charis in Greek, all of those things are part of what we share together, that there's great grace, that we're not trying to get people to get down and give me 25 and just be more religious or anything like that. There's this life, there's this grace, there's this joy that we've shared. And Luke tells us also that they shared the Spirit's presence, that the Spirit was just present in a powerful way among them, and they knew it. So I want to ask you this morning to, who do you share your life with in some of those ways? Who? It's a simple question. Who is it that you are sharing your life with in a way where you're sharing meals, you're sharing time, you're sharing worship and praise, you're sharing your stuff, you're sharing your money, you're sharing grace, you're sharing the Spirit's presence? Who are you sharing your life with? And how might that become richer if you start investing in some of those things? Maybe you're going to have to say no to some things in order to say yes to ultimate things. No to good things in order to say yes to ultimate things. And so I want to ask you, like I did a couple of Sundays ago, to join a small group. I want to ask you to join and to invest. And then I want to ask you, in other situations, in other settings, to sit down and ask somebody to share their story with you. Simply ask them to share their story. And they'll go, well, I was born here, and I would, like, no. I want the whole shebang. I want the whole thing. I want to hear your life story. And then when you have a chance, tell your life story. This is who you are. This is who I am. You share that with somebody, you're connected with them. It's kind of incredible. So we want community, but we must make room for community if we're going to have it. Who are you sharing those things with? Think and ponder these things. Who are you experiencing koinonia with? This is the rich stuff of life. I love you. I'm so glad that you tuned in today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm praying for you. I'm walking with you. We'll talk soon.